Was on and on, didn't it?
They can only shut it off at the fire department.
Also, first person in the building.
Red is.
Oh,
Be the first one there.
Oh,
well, let's try to work through it. Good afternoon, everybody. Town of LaPointe Regular Planning and Zoning Town Plan Commission. 5 p.m. August 5th. Call to order, roll call.
Charles Brum.
Amy Baxter.
Jim Peters.
Sloan Searcher.
Paul Wilhelm. Public comment, less than a minute. Any public comment?
I got a public comment in regards to fire numbers on Lucy in the Sky Drive. There are 3 lots there owned by my clients, and both of them need to have their driver's license renewed. They're supposed to be traveling out of the country and need the passports, and you gotta have a final address on all this stuff. It's been in talks for quite a while, but we need to get something from the town. Allstate Insurance called today, wanted to know what's the final address on these properties. And we gotta get that. It's all ASAP.
Thank you. Anyone else? Moving on, zoning administrator report. Verbal and written.
I'll keep it short today. We had a very busy month of July. The zoning ordinance rewrite back on July 1st at our last TPC meeting. We agreed to send it to legal review. Legal review, it started on July 2nd, and we had 16 comments from our attorney provided on July 16th. The work group has been working through those, and proposals for slight modifications to the language is included in today's package. So once we get through that, the next goal is to provide a draft to the town board for their review. Permits, we get a lot of permit applications coming in the second half of the month. This was no different than May or June. During July, we had 10 applications, 9 permit requests, and 1 variance request. My goal is to always try to get those on the agenda for the next TPC meeting. All of them that need TPC review are on the agenda tonight. Grants, while not part of the TPC efforts, I do include those here. We ordered the radios for the WISCOM grant that we won in May today. And last Thursday, we were able to mail a grant application for the Harbor Assistant Program. It actually ended up being 135 pages, so it was a pretty heavy lift. And that'll be reviewed, and we should hear something in early. Got listed monthly tracking of the applications that we've received. Overall permit fees through the end of July are 11.9% higher when compared to last year. Dwelling permits are down, but other types of project have been higher, contributing to that increase. Continue supporting the short-term rental administrator. Permits for this year would be June 14th. There was a 1-month grace period, July 14th. Short-term rental administrator sent out a letter reminding people that of the July 14th deadline. Through the end of July, we have 37 commercial, 1 short-term, 2 long-term, and 103 daily permits. The daily permits are capped at 125. So we're about 22 under that this year. The Great Lakes Island Alliance meeting was canceled in July. However, there are 3 this month. They're webinars that I plan on dialing in to. The Sixth Street vacation public hearing occurred on May, to obtain public comments on the potential vacation of Sixth Street. Comments at that public hearing centered on turnaround ability at the end of Nebraska Road, primarily for emergency services, school buses, and snow removal equipment. So I'm doing a bit of additional research on turnarounds and cul-de-sacs at the ends of streets. That ultimately will be on town board agenda, most likely next week. But I do have a data package of some alternatives from that meeting. And some guidance that we have that's from, I think, 1982 that we can talk about tonight. Big Bay Road, Schoolhouse Road, beaver and drainage issues. I'm continuing to work with Wilderness Preserve and the DNR on drainage and beaver concerns in that area. And then, we've already talked about the grant opportunities. So very busy month of July.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. We received this picture in our inbox out on Benjamin Boulevard about art being written on the road. It was taken on 7/2/26. It was received on 7/24/26. Is this being addressed?
Yes, that was addressed. We had received that. We reached out to the property owner, and the property owner removed it at the end of that day.
Okay, just keep it wild.
Any other questions? Thanks, Rich. Approval of previous minutes, the TPC meeting, July 1st.
Good job. It was a lot to digest.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the TPC regular monthly meeting minutes of July 1st, 2026.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Review, discuss, and possibly approve land use permit applications, including but not limited to. The first one is 1451, 1453, 1457, and 1461 Middle Road Certified Survey Map.
And this involves more than just Arnie, right? There's his.
It's a cousin, yes.
So my question is, did everyone sign off? Would I
Yes.
need to?
Yeah.
So, okay, I was going to say otherwise, someone would have to be an authorized agent and fill out that information. But
Correct.
you got all
It
the
was-
signatures you need?
It was signed, right?
Okay, good.
And this is one that we had discussed a few months ago. And then all of our recommendations were incorporated into the biggest one being the 250 feet of shoreline and how that was measured. It is measured perpendicular.
Yeah.
So it does not follow the shoreline.
Yeah, it looks like it meets the 250.
It does,
And lot areas are all good and
yes.
there are a couple of non-conforming lots trying to become less non-conforming.
Yes, yeah.
As they use it.
But yeah, it followed all of the PTC guidance. that we just said. And on page 3 kind of summarizes what occurred, what's different. So the first page is just basically how it exists today. And the second page is the proposed.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the town board approval of the Arnold Nelson certified survey map for those fire numbers, I guess 1451, 1453, 1457, and 1461 Middle Road.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Next one is 863 South Shore Road, dwelling addition.
No concern.
Yeah, no concerns. It's just for an addition to a primary dwelling, 23 by 33 feet. It's in the S1 zone. On page 2, there's a photo. There is an error in the distance that was printed on this. From the shoreline.
Yeah,
It's actually 110 feet. I think it was just, another place was 250 as well. I confirmed that and confirmed that with the owner. Did a site visit July 21st, couple of photos. It's marked out where it's supposed to be. We measured it, it exceeds all of the setbacks.
I'll move to approve the land use application for John and Nancy Nielsen at 863 South Shore Road as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 423 Mondamin Trail, a carport.
Yeah, this is for a 20 by 20 foot carport. It's more than 1,000 feet from Lake Superior, so it does not require Ashe County permits. From the site visit on July 31st. So the reason on page 2 that I think the photo that was drawn the way I did was so that it then matches the viewer from Ashland County website and Benson DNR. But it meets all of the setbacks. It exceeds them. It was marked out. He's ready to go. No issues.
I'll make a motion to approve the land use application of Stephen and Melissa Ross for 423 Mondamin Trail as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 919 Nebraska Row, pump house repair, modernization.
Yeah, and we received the permits for applications for this late last week. Started with a site visit, I think, back in May. This is probably one of the most complex, if not the most complex project that I've worked on since being here. There's an existing pump house that's about 100 years old, a little bit over 100 years old, that needs maintenance and repair. They're also proposing a dwelling be constructed on top of it. So there's a lot of complexities here because it's approximately 4 feet from the ordinary high water mark, Lake Superior. This also on the other end of the property is near where the 6th Street vacation is being contemplated. And because of the terrain, a gravity system for sanitary would not work. It would have to be a pump and lift station type. So that would have to connect into the existing sanitary district. And there would have to be a street cut that we'll have to probably coordinate with town board. And the 6th Street vacation, which I mentioned. So this one, I've been coordinating with Ashland County, I initiated coordination with the DNR today at Ashland County's recommendation. So page 3 shows the existing lot and where the pump house is in location. It's at the bottom. It is the only building that's on the property. So pages 4 and 5 are some exhibits that show the pump house is on the bottom and the new structure in gray, the dwelling is shown on top. There's a kind of a layout of how that would look, the new upper level. And then on page 5 is a side view that shows that as well. And thanks to David for providing this information you know, I think I've seen you 3 times in the past 3 days or so. And I do appreciate that. You came in yesterday and added some additional setback distances, and I do appreciate that. So the issue on this one that makes it super complicated is the, you know, with what I would call the west property line, that it's not 75 feet from the ordinary high water mark. It's about 4. Pages 6 and 7, and we'll get into the ordinance in a minute. Pages 6 and 7 are some photos that I took just to give you some perspective. On page 6, the top photo is we were near the top of where the existing pump house is. The one on the bottom is I was out on the pier looking back at the pump house. And you can see that, you know, it is in need of repair. And then page 7 is inside the pump house. First one's kind of looking to the right at a 45-degree angle, and then and the bottom one is kind of looking to the left. You can see there's some water seepage. You know, it does need some work. When we met in May, there were several different alternatives that were talked about. You know, one of them was building straight up. One of them was including some structure that went towards the front of the lot. There were different alternatives that were being considered. So now with the submittal of the application, we now know it is building straight up. It's not going backwards.
Comment I would like to make is the structure is also 15 feet above the highest lake recorded level.
So what you've got then at the back is the first 2 pages are the town of LaPointe zoning ordinance. And I pulled out the excerpts for non-conforming uses and structures, and including non-conforming uses, non-conforming structures. And on the second page, 9.3, non-conforming structures, it's a shoreline setback. And I think we'll want to spend some time interpreting that. I've also included Ashland County's shoreline protection ordinance excerpt that talks about non-conforming uses and structures. I wanted to bring those excerpts to the team tonight to talk about those and get some interpretation. That talks about maintenance, repair, replacement, or vertical expansion of non-conforming structures. That's included because it's, you know, we're talking, it's pretty close to Lake Superior. In coordination with Ashland County today, they had requested that, you know, maybe to talk to our town attorney to get some information. And you have in your box today, you know, section 59.692 of the Wisconsin state statutes that talks about if a town ordinance acted by a town that is located entirely on an island in Lake Superior and authorized to exercise village powers under 60.223, it is more restrictive than ordinances enacted under this section affecting the same shorelands regardless of the order of enactment. The town ordinance applies in all respects to the extent of the greater restrictions, but not otherwise. And then also at the county's recommendations, reach out to the DNR representative for this area. So I did a few hours ago send an email to her to you know, ask from a DNR perspective, you know, are there any permits required? What are the concerns? Is this something allowable? So as of right now, I've not heard back from the DNR, but it's, you know, all of these components together. So I've been talking for a long time. Kind of wanted to, I kind of wanted to set the groundwork here for this discussion and then, next steps. So Paul, anything you want to add?
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I have something to add. The sanitary permit for the project has also been applied for and will be addressed on the 19th of this month.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Yeah, when we received the permit applications last week, I think you and I probably both reached out to the sanitary district, and the materials for the sanitary permit have to be submitted by the 7th of August. They will be reviewing it. It will be on the agenda for a sanitary determination on August 9th.
I was gonna say, even though Ashland County underneath their shoreline protection ordinance, non-conforming uses and structures does have allowances for vertical expansion, as long as the vertical expansion does not extend more than 35 feet above grade. However, in our section 9.3, non-conforming structures, the shoreline setback between, up to 40 feet. So non-conforming principal structures, this is a principal structure. It's the only structure on the lot, correct?
Correct.
It's the only structure.
So it's a principal structure, less than 40 feet from the ordinary high water mark or permitted ordinary maintenance and repair. So they're allowed to do whatever they want to the existing basement foundation, whatever you want to call what's there now. What gets sticky from how I'm interpreting this and just myself is such structures may be improved internally, provided one, internal improvement is confined to the building envelope, i.e. no new basements, additional stories, lateral expansion or accessory construction outside the perimeter of existing enclosed dwelling space are permitted, but replacement of windows, doors, roofing, siding, and upgrading of the installation of a structure are permitted. Now, once we get into under F, where we're going from 40 feet and 75 feet, there's more allowances for doing what they're requesting to do. That's my only hangup, is because this is within 40 feet of the ordinary high water mark. And as you noted with this excerpt from state statutes, that are 10, 12 years old now, where if a town ordinance enacted by a town that is located entirely on an island like Superior and authorized to exercise village powers under state statute 60-22 subsection 3 is more restricted than an ordinance enacted under this section, affects the same shorelines regardless of the order of enactment. The town ordinance applies in all respects to the extent the greater restrictions, but not otherwise. So I don't think if we apply what's written, they can't add a second story, is how I read it. But that's my opinion.
Anybody else?
Well, I think if we look at what is on here, the section 9.0 non-conforming, it says page 74 on the bottom of the page, which would be fine. So at the top, it says 9.1 non-conforming uses. It says the non-conforming use may not be changed, extended, expanded. So whatever they're using it for now, they can keep using it for that purpose, but they can't change it. And if we go down that page to 9.2, non-conforming structures, section B, the second sentence says, the addition shall not exceed 50% of the existing building footprint. And they're proposing to build the same size, another story, so that wouldn't be allowed. On the next page, and I think Charlie already talked about this, 9.3 non-conforming structures to shoreline setback. Down in E1, it says internal improvement is confined to the building envelope, i.e. no new basements, additional stories, et cetera, et cetera. So this would be an additional story, and it says it's not allowed. So I agree with Rich's suggestion that we deny this application.
What have you got?
Well, I mean, technically on this, I mean, my recommendation for tonight was, for discussion, and then possible approval or denial based on what we know. What the piece we don't know right now is from DNR and if anything factors in.
Well, I don't think the DNR is gonna make any difference on this. I mean, according to the way our zoning ordinance is written right now, there's no way that this structure would qualify.
Yeah, the more restrictive ordinance, prevails according to state statutes, and even at the beginning of our ordinance, it's always the more restrictive takes precedent. So I think we're definitely more restrictive than the county, unless things are changed so that we're in step with the county, but right now we're not, so we're just going off of that.
I'm gonna let Dave chime in on this.
Well, I sure would like to get started on the preserving of the building. It's in disrepair. It needs to be taken care of, and scheduling on Artie's schedule is already getting super tight. I would like to vote tonight to get approval to do the land disturbance and restoration of the existing.
So I would suggest an approval without the second story.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's allowed ordinary maintenance and repair for what's there existing. So yeah, I think it's certainly within the realm to allow that portion of it.
Then I guess what I'd like to know is, there's no sense in me going further with the sanitary permit if you're not gonna look at it with the DNR, you don't need to chime in on it, so. That would be the case.
I think that's correct.
Yeah,
That's refundable.
Anybody have a motion?
You have enough information to approve a land use permit to maintain the existing non-conforming structure?
Yes.
Well, in that case, I would make a motion to approve the land use permit to rehab the existing non-conforming structure on 919 Nebraska Road, the pump house. With the condition that Rich has all the pertinent information and fees.
I've got a second from Amy. Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Zoning ordinance rewrite, final edition, legal review update, and next steps.
Yeah, so I'll take that off. So when we met July 1st, we decided as a team to begin the legal review. So on July 2nd, we sent a copy of the document to our attorney and asked that the review start. And that review was completed pretty quickly on July 16th. And nothing major. He had a total of 16 comments that he sent back to the town on July 16th through our zoning rewrite work group. I immediately shared his comments with them on July 16th, same day. And over the past couple of weeks, when we talk about the zoning rewrite, there's some language at the back that starts out attorney zoning rewrite. It's dated 7/28/26. Is the proposed language to address the attorneys. And I think they need the recommendation. We're here tonight to talk about those 16. And then if everyone is in agreement, making these 16 changes, and then does the group feel it's time to share with town board for their review?
Well, I still have concerns about Class E signs, the tourist oriented directional signs being left in there. So, yeah, I got a problem with that. Everything else, what I reviewed looks pretty good, but That should be applied to the ordinance. It's not part of the comprehensive plan per se, so. I don't know, I'm gonna get an argument from some people on that, but I don't think that belongs in the rewrite.
Anybody else? Personally, I like it the way it is.
You like what?
I like it the way it is. Time to send it off.
The way it is with these changes.
Right.
We need a motion or a recommendation.
I think recommendation.
Okay,
I mean, so basically what it would be doing is starting later this week, I would be putting this current document, these changes, and then providing to town board to begin their review.
I'll make a recommendation to send this zoning rewrite as presented to the town board.
Second.
Yes.
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 Nay, I'm opposed to page 67, section 5.5D. I think it was slipped in. I don't think it's appropriate and disappointed. No, not getting any yes for me unless that's removed. Hopefully the town board will consider that seriously.
Well, I hope the town board considers it seriously.
Thank you. Sixth Street vacation update.
There's one other letter that I shared.
Okay.
One additional letter that we had received from a resident, a property owner, that went to the town board, that was shared with me. It's about a page or so.
Right.
Just
I've read it.
Yeah, you made some good points.
Sixth Street vacation update.
Yeah, and you have a package as well as a Sixth Street vacation update and alternatives. July 8th, town board conducted a public hearing. Not a lengthy comments were raised about having some sort of turnaround or cul-de-sac at the end of Nebraska Road. Turnaround would be in the vicinity of the west end of the potential Sixth Street vacation and would allow for emergency service vehicles, school buses, and snow removal equipment. And honestly, anyone that finds themselves at the end of the dead end to have an easier time reversing direction in that general area. Talked about at the next town board meeting. And they wanted some additional research and take a look at some alternatives and what that meant. So in my research, I found chapter 394, streets and sidewalks, which appears to be from 1976, but then the section I found was from 1982. That talks about cul-de-sacs and turnarounds, and specifically 394-6. I included the whole thing for everyone's reference, just so you have it. Under subsection E, it talks about minor streets shall be laid out so as to discourage their use by through traffic. Cul-de-sacs shall be required on all dead-end streets. Subparagraph K talks about all permanent dead-end streets shall be required to have a cul-de-sac, shall not be longer than 1,000 feet and shall have minimum width of 50 feet. Cul-de-sac shall have a circular turnaround, having a minimum right-of-way radius of at least 60 feet and an outside curb radius of 40 feet. So what I started doing is I started going through a list and looking at maps and talking to people about the dead-end streets that we have on the island, and it's kind of a mix. I mean, there's probably 20 or so dead-end streets. It's kind of a mix. Some have cul-de-sacs, some have Ys, some have different alternatives. Like I mentioned, the town board requested additional information at their July 14th meeting. So for right now, I've taken a Sharpie and created basically 7 alternatives. And that's part of the Sixth Street vacation process.
Were they looking for a recommendation from this body on which one to select?
Well, are there any that we support, really? And what's needed? So those alternatives start out basically do nothing, leave as it is today. They range from a full cul-de-sac, which is alternative one, an L-shaped turnaround, alternative two, a T-shaped alternative three. Alternative four was a Y-shaped turnaround. Alternative five was using the existing driveway at the neighboring property. That would allow you to go through and continue back.
Easiest.
And then alternative six is to complete construction of Sixth Street. And again, this was just to put all the alternatives out there. There would be various easements that would be required. It does impact the Sixth Street vacation in that some of the alternatives would cross that property. It's a TPC as far as the streets and sidewalks chapter. It's from 1982. To get some interpretation on that. And then are there any potential thoughts that you have on these alternatives that could then be shared back with town board?
What is that, a 50-foot street?
I believe so.
So why not just do a full cul-de-sac and have a 50-foot radius and keep it within right of ways
Yeah,
or an L shape?
yeah, and I haven't gone out there and measured because there's various.
What does the public works director think?
Just looking at alternatives right now, I don't have an opinion from him.
Oh, you haven't showed him any of this?
We've talked about it. We've talked about it in identifying the streets, but this exhibit was completed yesterday.
Yeah, I would say share it with him, get his input. Fire chief, larger vehicles that are gonna need to turn around down there. Gonna have to keep within the town 50-foot right away or 40 or 60 or whatever the hell it is.
What I did a quick search for and couldn't find is I had heard that years ago this had been contemplated. And then it had never moved forward, and I don't know all of the facts behind that.
Almost every other dead end street has a way for equipment to turn around safely and. So yeah, it's either a cul-de-sac or an L-shaped turnaround, something. Long as it's not. On someone else's property.
Mhm.
I'd like to comment that the option of having a turnaround on a private person's property is totally ridiculous. So you get an emergency there and someone's car's parked on it. It's got to be left vacant to be able to turn around, and you can't request that from a private person's property.
Yeah.
That's why I said it has to be on private.
Private one is not nearly big enough to turn any of our fire trucks around in.
Well, and were you also referencing the current driveway that the applicant suggested could just be used as a turnaround?
That's what my
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, but no, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That option would be the least favorite in my mind.
Yeah, really not an option. It's private property for.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. You gotta be able to, they don't tell you when you're gonna have a fire truck in your driveway.
Oh,
Yeah, it has to be on public property, the whole.
Yes.
well, I think the standardization for this would just be the cul-de-sac option. Would be the most standard, and a second option would be the L.
Actually, Paul, I did some investigation. Our ordinance says it should have a cul-de-sac.
Specifically?
That's what it
Okay,
says.
okay.
In the ordinance that Rick was referring to.
Yeah,
And everything I read about cul-de-sacs was an actual cul-de-sac. A T or an L, none of those fall as a cul-de-sac. So I would recommend if the board is going to move ahead with this, that they would have a regular turnaround cul-de-sac.
okay.
an L or a T or anything else.
Well, I've been plenty of spots on the island where it's
Right, I mean, just because they did that then, doesn't mean that's the best way to do it now. And I think since we know what the ordinance says, it should call it then.
we need to stick to it.
Okay. Good to know.
So I'm gonna make a recommendation to the board to pursue this and with a cul-de-sac. Okay, so-
At the applicant's expense,
Right, to vacate Sixth Street.
yes. Everyone else feeling in agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie?
Consensus, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I got what I need.
thank you. Doesn't look like we have any new business. Future agenda items? Same old, same old. We'll add them as we progress. Extended public comment. Any thoughts?
I'd just also like to bring up the fact that the fire numbers that were placed falsely on Nebraska Road that should be on Whitefish Street. That Jim Rogers referred to in the last meeting, wanting to get his fire number changed to the correct address due to an ambulance call where they went down the wrong road. And I suggest once again that they figure out a way to get these things straightened out. It's really an undue hardship and burden on the people of this town. Not to have these fire numbers straightened out once and for all. I mean, you got people with driver's license that need to be done. You got ambulances going to wrong streets and addresses because they were put on the wrong road. Those houses that are on Nebraska Road, they're listed our Whitefish Street.
Yeah,
And Jim Rogers was here in protest of last town board meeting and no changes made.
I'm still waiting on 2 fire numbers out on South Shore Road. In fact, 1 fire number was removed, the brown one. They never replaced it. Why didn't you leave the old one there at least?
We've read, there's no number at all.
Yeah, stupid.
It's getting a bit.
I agree with you,
Dangerous.
but no one listens to me.
Me neither.
well,
All I have. Well,
As I was gonna say, I'm going with him as mine in South Road. You took the words right out of my mouth. But you're right, Charles. People won't listen to you. I was gonna mention something about my opposition to the mixed use zone, which I think is gonna be abused. People think it's the same as commercial and it's not. I was gonna mention something about these signs, but no one listens to you. I had more success trying to piss up a road. So why even go? It's a done deal now. The third thing, and nothing to do with anything tonight, can I talk to you after the meeting, Rich? I have something about that BOA meeting in a few
Yes.
weeks. It'll be less than a minute and I won't be pissing or anything about it.
It's all good. It's all good.
yeah, well, I've got a short comment. Keep in mind, we're just a recommending body, and so there are checks and balances.
Yeah, but no one listens to that anyway, so don't feel bad.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anything, John? No?
John, come on, you gotta say something.
I guess for the options for the turnarounds and stuff like that, I think be nice as a board member to know what the cost is gonna be.
All the costs would be borne by the applicant.
for the turnaround cost of the pavement, turnaround and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
To get Sixth Street vacated.
Okay, so
I don't know if that would be right.
well, that would,
that hardly seems.
that would be up.
It's just a recommendation.
Yeah, just a recommendation.
Yeah.
Town board, they can say, oh, that's
Public
ridiculous.
comment, not discussion.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Well, fine.
Anybody else? Steve?
No,
Okay, thanks. Next scheduled meeting, September 2nd, 5 PM.
Yeah, that works.
Agree with
Yeah, 5 is good.
I am
Yeah.
good with Amy.
Yeah.
At work, fine.
Okay, thank you. We're adjourned.
Thanks, Chair.